The Bad Boys podcast is brought to you by Iconic Motorhouse, the guys making your motoring fantasies a reality. Visit iconicmotorhouse.com. Today on the show, how much are your farts worth?
Border Force goes on the shit list just because they deserve it.
And we interview one of the stars of the new James Bond, No Time to Die.
All that and plenty more on today's Bad Boys podcast. If you want the hard-hitting journalism of Four Corners, the reliable current affairs of, well, a current affair, and the planning that goes into classy shows like The Project, then you've tuned into the wrong podcast. It's comedy, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and news stories that makes Fox News sound like an episode of The Muppets. Or maybe it's the other way around. Conversations no one wants to have, but everyone wants to hear. This is the Bad Boys Podcast. Welcome to Bad Boys Podcast, and massive show with one of the stars from No Time to Die. Andrew wasn't around. I managed to. I think I spoke to him in some god awful time of the night. It was. It was just had to happen on that time. I'm talking about David Dencik, and David Dencik actually played one of the prime characters of the show. His name was Voldo Obracek. Did you see No Time to Die, Andrew?
Honestly, I haven't seen it yet, and part of the reason being is when it was displayed at the cinemas in my local area, I actually couldn't get to one of the sessions that they had. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to catch it on home theatre. Home
DVD, streaming, whatever you choose. And I also should mention that if you head over to badboysfm.com or visit our Facebook page, Official Bad Boys Podcast, thanks to our friends at Universal Sony Pictures Home Entertainment Australia, or that's a bit of a mouthful. Thanks to USP, we're giving away 6 DVDs of No Time to Die. So get in and enter.
I got to say, what's really good, the DVDs, I got about, I don't know, a bunch of cupboards underneath my TV hung on the wall and blah, blah, blah. And it's back-to-back chockers full of DVDs. And every now and then when the streaming service starts playing up or internet goes out or something like that, I go and raid the DVD cupboard and go, oh, yeah, I haven't seen this in a while. Get into that.
It was funny. I was having a look at a DVD the other day, and Tanya's like, "You've got to be serious, right? Like, have you got anything to actually play the DVD on?" And I looked around and went, "Oh, actually, no, I don't. I literally don't have anything to play a DVD or a Blu-ray on now." Yeah, actually, I think it still works on the Xbox. So so maybe I do. Maybe I do. I can ransack Reef's Xbox and watch all the James Bonds if I want to.
I've got a second copy of Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater in it that I need to send you.
Pump Up the Volume? Yes, you do. I think I've got a second copy of the Wiggles Big Red Car to send you, actually, Andrew.
Oh, now you're talking toot.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Now, Andrew, I believe that I heard a story that you've decided to leave the Bad Boys because you've got a new career.
Yeah, mate, big news. I'm going to have to leave the show to take on a new career because an opening, so to speak.
An opening's come up?
Has opened up. Yeah, an opening's opened up. So I'm actually going to go and sell my farts.
Going to sell your farts?
I'm going to sell my farts. So, look, for years, kids have, our kids walk around, "Oh, what's for dinner tonight, Dad?" And my normal response is either shit and onions, and then they go, "Well, all right, what's for dessert?" And I always say fart in a cup.
Right.
But as it turns out, there's actually a bit of money to be made in this. This will blow your mind.
This is so fucked up, seriously.
There's a reality TV star, US reality TV star, that made $275,000 from farting in jars and selling it to creepy fucks all over the world. and she's actually had to go into retirement. Now, yes, you're right. I said she, and I will be the first to admit she's a damn sight cuter than I am. But if anybody's experienced one of my farts, you know that you get your money's worth because that shit can linger for hours.
Now, she was raking in $1,400 per jar.
I know, right? Imagine farting in a jar.
This
and
is
someone
crazy.
paying
This is
$1,400
crazy
for it.
shit, right? So this is just serious. We're deadly serious with this. Her name's Steph Matto. She was a US reality TV star. Anyway, she went to hospital because she was having like symptoms of a heart attack, right, and getting some shooting pains in her chest. So the doctors performed blood tests and an EKG, right? But then they told her the symptoms were actually caused by excess gas from her diet of, wait for it, beans, eggs, and banana protein shakes.
Right. There you go. There you go. Living the dream. Anybody who wants to take on a career, farting in a jar and selling it and stuff like that, well, first of all, you got to be a damn sight prettier than I am. And two, you got to commit. You got to go all out. You got to go the full Monty.
Yeah.
And make sure that the diet's thing. So for me, honestly, undercooked onions and too much dairy.
You're not going to become a fartrepreneur?
I don't know. I might give it a go because, in all honesty with you, if I farted in a jar, that's a gift that'll just keep on giving.
Well, she was mainly doing like high fiber diets, beans, eggs, right? Then she decided to add protein shakes to the mix, but she discovered it made the fart smell worse, so her sales dropped off.
Oh, really?
Seriously.
See, this is what I don't understand, right? Okay, help me out here for a second. Look, I get the whole pretty girl thing. I can even, to a certain degree, kind of go along with the idea of buying a used pair of panties. You know, I wouldn't do it.
I can't believe you actually went there. Seriously.
I don't really get it, but I can see the thought process behind it. I can respect the process, right? But a fart in a jar? Like, do you have to pay extra if it's a slightly wet fart in a jar?
Moist.
Yeah. Well, pay even more for a couple of little golden nuggets in there as well.
Well, she was drinking all of this protein shakes, and she said one day she had about 3 protein shakes and a huge bowl of black bean soup, and she could tell that something wasn't right that evening when she was lying in bed. Oh man, you got to admit it's going to be like the worst thing ever. But don't you enjoy a good fart sometimes?
I love a good fart. And you know what? I love my wife. She is amazing. She is the light of my life. She is a once-in-a-lifetime catch, and she is a keeper. And the main reason being is she loves a good fart joke. And, of course, she was raised as well in a good fart culture. So, we really celebrate our farts in our house. It's good stuff.
Yeah, well, she's decided that her days of fart selling have gone. So she's now going into crypto. Because, NFTs.
So apparently she is, get this, she's working on digital fart jar artwork.
Wow. Fart jar artwork.
I'm not too sure whether that is like NFT stuff, because I think that's the way she's intending on selling it, through NFTs and stuff like that. But can't you just get that shit on Pornhub?
I can imagine wet fart artwork, because, that could work, but no. So she was on a website called Unfiltered. Now, this is the new social media site. You can head over there if you want an alternative to Facebook. It's called Unfiltered, and you can actually sell things on there. So I thought maybe the bad boys, should start up an unfiltered page, and then we can sell things. So I was thinking of some of the things that we could sell, some of the services that we could sell, and maybe some jobs that we could do for people, right?
Yep.
What about a dumpster painter? You and I could go around and just painting murals on dumpsters, hey? Great idea.
Yeah, so That's an American word, dumpster. So they're talking like not auto bins or anything like that we have, but they're talking about
Wheelie
like the
bins.
big commercial
Big commercial, bins.
bins. Yeah, that's right.
The other, this is a real job someone actually has. They they review sensitive content for Google. So now you reckon your job sucks, right? This guy, he's contracted to Google. He gets sent a whole list of questionable content that he has to watch. Like, it includes everything from not just porn, but like some really, really heavy shit as well, right?
Like suicide and bestiality and stuff like that too. Yeah,
he works alone. Eventually needed therapy after this.
Jumping yazard. I need bloody I need therapy from doing this bloody show, let alone doing that job.
Now, what about selling your friendship? Rent a friend. I think that's a good idea. It's a nice one, isn't it?
What about social media manager? I think there's a lot of social media managers out there, but has anyone actually thought of being a social media manager for a Muppet?
Or a dead person?
Right.
Imagine
being a social media manager for ScoMo. I mean, really.
That's just bad, terrible.
There's a fucking Muppet.
What about becoming a human guinea pig? Because there's a lot of money to be made in test subjects.
Yeah, human guinea.
Just pump me with whatever you've got, whatever virus is going around. Let's see what response you get. Get paid $5,000 a month.
Wow, that's
Great
crazy.
Idea. This is how much. That's how much they earn.
I wonder if you have clauses in the contract for that says, no Ebola, no syphilis.
Now, I've got one that's right up your alley, Andrew.
Oh, you're talking about the testing condoms, aren't you?
The full-time condom tester.
Yeah, that's me, mate, to a T, absolutely.
Something that's even crazier, and you wouldn't catch me doing it for quids, and that is to be a snake milker. Now, that is a real thing. So there are guys out there, they work with 200 deadly snakes, and they hope to keep milking for the rest of their lives, but their lives are pretty much shortened because one of the guys has actually been bitten 4 times, put on life support 4 times. Do you remember a show that used to be on? Tanya used to love this show. It was called Deadly 60.
Yes,
you ever remember
it's
that?
actually most deadly animals
with
in the world.
Steve, well, I had a bit of Steve envy, I've got to say. Here's a guy that goes out and he's like, oh, look at that snake. It's possibly the most dangerous snake in the world. I'm just going to grab it. And then he just grabs these things like, spiders, whatever, as if they're nothing. Like, who does that, really?
Right.
Who wakes up in the middle of the night and goes, I'm going to be Steve, Deadly 60. I'm going to go around and get all of the 60th deadliest things in the world and I'm going to handle them.
Right. You know what? I reckon he's mates with the person who sells deer pee for a living. That's right, deer urine, as in not oh dear, but he sells urine. This guy sells urine for $15.50 for a 2-ounce bottle. And it's bought by deer hunters to actually attract deer. You know what they do with it? They get the deer pee.
They pour it over themselves.
You're right. They get basically a deer golden shower going so that they smell like some hot little bit of deer ass wandering around and stuff like that. And more to the point, they don't smell like humans. And it makes deer hunting a lot easier.
Wow. Well, you know what? That's a really good segue into our sponsor, because you've really got to be taking care of yourself.
You do need to be taking care of yourself. And look, anybody who's into golden showers and stuff like that, good for you, whatever, not my thing, but that's fine. But no matter what you do, you got to be taking care of your junk.
Now, let me tell you a little secret. Women also love a man who looks good and performs well in their duds.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing more disappointing as a woman to put in the groundwork, and when you get to the busy end of the evening, what look good's on the outside is clad in baggy, stained and stinky, poor performing duds.
Now, boys, it's time to man up down under, the right fitting underwear that treats your junk like a king while you treat her like a queen.
So to all the queens out there, go to manupdownunder.com.au. Buy your man a week's supply for his package. if he looks after his package, then all the more good package for your enjoyment.
manupdownunder.com.au. What's the catchphrase?
High-performing underwear that cups your junk like the soft hands of an angel.
Beautiful.
Fuck, we only got there in half an hour.
Coming up, we have an interview with David Dencik from No Time to Die. This is the Bad Boys Podcast.
Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. You just didn't get to yours yet.
James Bond. License to kill. History of violence. I could be speaking to my own reflection. Only your skills die with your body. Mine will survive long after I'm gone.
History isn't kind to men who play God.
David Dencik, who plays Russian MI6 scientist Valdo Obrachev in No Time to Die, the latest James Bond installment. Welcome to the Bad Boys.
Thank you, sir.
Now, no spoilers here for those who haven't seen the movie, and of course it's available on home entertainment on January 26. Now, you've starred in some pretty amazing movies like Tinker Tailor Spy, Chernobyl, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but this is an iconic franchise. What happened when you got the call and you were going to be added as a character in the James Bond universe?
Oh, I was very excited. You see, it had been... I think I had my first meeting with the people behind the movie in December, what was it, 18 or 19, something like that. And then it took a couple of weeks, or not to say a couple of months, before I actually got the final call saying that I got the offer. So it was I'd say 3 months of me not really knowing if I was in or out. So when I finally got the call, it was such a relief, and because I really wanted to do the part.
Yeah.
So that was the main feeling, excitement and relief.
And so did you grow up watching James Bond like we all did as well?
Yes, I was born 1974. So for me, James Bond was always Roger Moore.
Yes.
And it kind of ended with Roger Moore, because then I grew up and I must confess that I stopped watching James Bond films beyond the Roger Moore era.
Wow.
And I did, I started looking at them again pretty much when Daniel Craig entered the scene, because I'm not the first Bane in the franchise. Matt Mikkelsen is in Casino Royale, and Jesper Christensen is in some of the other films. So there was excitement about that where I come from. So then I started, and then I married my wife, and her father is an avid James Bond fan, so he took me to see Skyfall on the opening night.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, I mean, look, you had a lot of screen time with Daniel Craig, I have to say. And in fact, the whole MI6 team, M, Moneypenny, Q, was it a surreal experience knowing that you were in the middle of this James Bond whirlwind?
And I wouldn't call it surreal. No, I feel that I was pretty focused. I was excited about it, of course. I knew from my peers what the work was like. I had met with the many years casting director, David McWilliams, over the years. I think I even auditioned Skyfall way back when. So I felt it was in my proximity, or in my periphery rather, to the Bond films. But yeah, I mean, I think I was so focused to make this a good experience that I kind of didn't get too excited coming on set the first day, even though I remember that in Jamaica was my first day on set. You see, there was the DOP, Linus Sandgren. He's a Swede, and I'm also Swedish, so yes. There was some comfort in that. And by that time, I felt quite comfortable around Barbara Broccoli and Cary Fukunaga and Michael Wilson. So I did feel I was in a good place when we started shooting, and it was a great experience for me to do this job. But I remember being on a boat with Billy Magnuson, the guy who plays. I forget his name, but you know the man. Yes,
I do. Yes, he played a great role too.
Yeah, great role. I forget his name though, Scott or something. Anyways, that guy. Well, we were on a boat together, and then he looks at me in Jamaica and he says, "Hey, dude, we're in a fucking Bond movie." Pardon my English there, but
that's okay.
That's what he said. So he was kind of going for it. He was excited, and I started smiling. I said, "Yes, I guess we are. We're movie history now."
Now, you probably had to rewatch the movie to remember what you actually did, because a lot has happened in the 2 years since production's wrapped up, right?
It has, yeah. I did watch it prior to the first pandemic down close because I was in London to do some ADR and some publicity work.
Yeah.
So I had seen it, but then it took another 2 years before it came out.
Yes, and obviously because of COVID.
Because of COVID, yeah. No, that was in January. I mixed up the years now. January 2020, I think it was. Or was it? No, January 2020, yes.
Yes, that's
January
correct, yep.
I was in London and I saw it. And then it was supposed to open in around Easter, I think. And then it didn't. And then here we are.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of like art imitating life, really. I mean, you were a scientist developing a virus in a laboratory containing nanobots to manipulate DNA. Now, let's not go down conspiracy theories at all. But how did you react when suddenly you've got reports of a virus coming out of a laboratory hitting the news?
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing to say in that respect. I think it's, what I heard from Karen, I think he's right, is that I think Michael Wilson in particular, they're very well wondered in what goes on geopolitically and stuff. So
yeah.
I think they have been on the ball with other movies as well, Bond movies, like preempting certain weapons and preempting certain developments that would then take place in maybe a different form and shape in the real world, but pretty close.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
There was some weapon they invented in some movie that then became pretty focused. So that they really take their inspiration from the world that we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you literally swallow the USB key with the computer information on it. And I've just got to say, it didn't just happen once in the movie. How many times did you swallow the USB key?
I put it in my mouth at least, I would say 10 times. But there was one point when I was so excited and full of adrenaline that I did venture a bit down into my body and my system, but I managed to get it out before it was too late. But no, I had to stay pretty focused at that point because I was so excited about doing the scene that it almost went all the way down.
Yes. Now, there's been a lot of talk about who could be playing the new James Bond. Obviously, Daniel Craig has handed in his license to kill. I mean, it's no secret that has happened. Who would you like to see in the new role, having been in the movie?
I mean, that's a great question, but I'm not sure I can answer it because me not being an Anglo-Saxon actor from birth, I'm not that well wondered in terms of who is up and coming or who is strong. I mean, the male actors that I look at, such as Tom Hardy or Benedict Cumberbatch or Michael Fassbender, they're all too old, aren't they?
I think so too. Yeah, although
I think it's going to be somebody.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly. I mean, maybe Tom Hiddleston.
But he's also old. I would go for somebody around 30. What was Daniel Craig was 37 when he started, or 35 or something.
Yeah.
So, and I think all these boys or these men, they are past 40. Now, who am I to know? Maybe it will be one of these guys.
Yeah, they probably, but anyone younger probably doesn't even know the storyline.
I did work with James Norton, who was at the time, before Daniel Craig announced he was going to make last film. He was the one with the lowest bookmaking ratings to become the new James Bond. Yeah, no, I have no strong answer to that because I just don't know the actors. Yeah,
no, that's totally understandable. And look, it's anyone's guess, and you know, it could even be a woman. You never know. I mean, there's talk about that as well. So I think we'll just have to wait and see.
But there is a daughter in the film, but. Yeah, I think
we won't go into any spoilers on that one. Now, obviously, this is the Bad Boys podcast, and you kind of play a bit of a bad boy in this because you're switching sides and sort of serving your own agenda. Do you think that your role will go down as one of the bad guys or one of the good guys?
Well, not one of the good guys. I'm pretty confident about that. But I would like to argue the case of him being a bad boy. He's a scientist. And somebody of your colleagues said he was like the evil Q. Now, I kind of lean into that analysis because he's mainly into science. I mean, remember the scene in Cuba when he realizes that his poison actually works and he starts smiling as people fall out dead?
Yes, exactly.
It's not because he wants necessarily to see Spectre dead. He wants to see his science to work. So
it's all relative to the science, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, as long as science works, he did his part. So I think he has a very low moral standard, that's for sure. But he's not necessarily evil. I mean, he does evil things, but he could just as easily have done good things, I suppose.
Well, you'll definitely be going down in the history books as one of the bad scientists in James Bond.
Yeah.
David Dencik, thank you so much for joining us on The Bad Boys. If you're listening to this, make sure you go out and grab a copy and experience one of the best James Bond films, I feel.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show, Shane.
Well, that was David Dencik from No Time to Die, and we want to really thank Universal Sony Pictures for giving us that interview. Really appreciate that. And don't forget, head over to badboysfm.com, visit our Facebook page, Official Bad Boys Podcast. You can enter at any of those thanks to our friends at Universal Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. We are giving away 6 DVDs of No Time to Die. So make sure you head over and put down your entry. Seriously cool. Now, something else that's seriously cool. Andrew, I have a question. When you were younger, do you remember cruising down the main street with your mates only to be laughed at by gorgeous girls passing you by?
No, mate, not that I remember. What about you?
Yeah, that's because I was driving my mum's Camry.
Well, no wonder they were laughing at you.
Well, look, turning your cruising dreams into a reality has never been easier than it is with our brand new sponsor, Iconic Motor House, and that's HAUS, the German way.
Yeah, they've got regular draws, limited numbers, and access to special and unique deals from over 4,500 popular brands.
Now, they don't do Camrys, do they?
No, they only give away real men's cars. Eye-catching cars that will get those girls purring like a pussycat. So don't be a turkey, mate. Go to iconicmotorhouse.com. Choose how many tickets you want, and for a limited time, they're actually going to increase your odds.
Oh, that's awesome. I can cruise down the street with the kids, Tanya in the car as well, and we can look like a real family instead of driving a Camry.
Yeah, that's right. I tell you what, it's never been easier to win a customised showpiece that's going to get everybody's attention. And Iconic Motor House giving you the opportunity to fulfill all of those motoring fantasies.
What's wrong with Camrys anyway?
Everything.
This is the Bad Boys Podcast.
Welcome back to the Bad Boys. Mate, we've got another shit lift we've got to talk about.
I was wondering when you were going to bring this one up because I thought you would have brought it up in Tuesday's episode because we talked about it. But, yeah, I think it deserves talking about again. Yeah,
so this is Border Force and their ever ongoing clusterfuck. But this isn't so much about Djokovic. We know that they've screwed that up. Djokovic has come out since and admitted he made a couple of mistakes as well. And you know what? Good on him for that. My hat goes off to him. I don't mind the guy. I think he's trying to do the right thing. He just wants to play tennis, right? The reason why Border Force are on the shit list is because of their treatment of refugees. And I don't understand this. I just don't get it. We live in a country the size of the United States. We have a population of 26, 27 million. The United States has a population of 340 million? 14 times the size of our population. And we live in the countries of similar size. Yet people say, oh no, there's not enough space. You know what? We got more space than anything. We have definitely got space for refugees.
Yeah.
What has come out of this Djokovic thing is quite simply, there are a bunch of refugees staying in the same border jail hotel thing in Carlton there, And those guys have been refugees for something to the tune of about 9 or 10 years now. I mean, in detention.
Yeah.
Some of them were at Nauru when they were just teenagers.
They're not allowed out to wander around the streets of Melbourne. They are locked in that hotel.
Yep. And they don't eat. They can't even open windows, so they've got no fresh air.
Yep.
Their food's maggoty. One guy was actually moved from Nauru to Melbourne because he needed all of this dental care and all of this medical work. He still has not, years later, had any medical care. They just give him Panadol. Like,
That's
it's
terrible.
just, it does my head in. You know, we are a country of good, light-hearted, poke fun at ourselves, have a good laugh, hard work, good day's pay at the end of the day type of people. Yet we have this innate need. Our government and the people that work for Border Force have this innate need to bully, control, coerce, terrorise, traumatise people who just want a better life. They just, these guys are trying to get out of places like Afghanistan and Kurdistan and Iraq and Syria and all this sort of stuff. They just want to get away from war. And I'm telling you right now, any one of those border control people, any single one of them, whether they're, in uniform, whether they're not in uniform, whether they're in the government thing, if any single one of them had stepped 1 foot, one day, spent one day in a war zone, their whole attitude would change. So Border Force, you're on the shit list.
It's been a terrible situation with Djokovic, but I'm glad it's sort of happened, and maybe it was all supposed to happen so that Australia can be told about what's going on with Border Force and or what's not going on, because 9 years with nothing happening.
Yeah, the control that they have.
Terrible.
If anybody actually knew the truth of what was actually really going on, I don't think there's a person on this planet that could not shed a tear and not feel the pain and suffering of the people going on.
Absolutely. Hey, now we've gone pretty good not talking about the C word during this episode.
COVID. I know. You know why?
Why?
Because when I get started, I can't stop. I'm so pissed off by it all and stuff like that. And it's not vax or no
we've
vax.
done
It's
good.
just the government's response to this stuff is bullshit.
Well, we've done pretty good, but there is actually something that we need to talk about. This is a real thing that is happening that, and it concerns me, but apparently there is a rare COVID side effect that a US man has now put a claim about. Apparently there's a thing that is being known as COVID cock. Now, have you heard about this?
Right, and I just want to clarify a few things here. This is not a side effect of having the vaccine. This is a side effect of being infected with COVID. And two, we're not talking about a new type of Karen either. A COVID cock is not someone who's running around shops having a go at shops for not letting vaccinated people in, right? That's a different type of COVID cock. This is a medical problem.
Well, apparently this guy claims that his penis has shrunk by 4 centimetres due to COVID, and doctors say that it can't be fixed.
It's a vascular damage issue that happens at the blood cell level. Yeah.
Damage the blood vessels.
Yeah. Basically, what's happening is when he gets an erection, the blood doesn't flow properly and all that sort of stuff. And, it leaves him a little bit soft.
Now, mate, I'm just wanted to mention this to you because, if you lose 4 centimetres, could put you off your game.
I know. I won't be able to tuck it in my sock anymore, and that's going to be a real problem because it keeps it warm. But look, this is actually a real problem because some influencers have gotten into big trouble for saying that people have issues. Particularly men have been having issues with their genitalia as a result of catching COVID, and it's a particular side effect of what they call long COVID.
Like having COVID for a long period of time.
Right. It messes with the body in certain ways and just messes with, the lungs and all sorts of other crazy stuff. And a lot of it's apparently permanent, like who knows. But this guy's got a slightly smaller cock and he's not pleased about it. And the doctors say there's really not anything they can do about it except for maybe book him in for a penis enlargement.
Well, they're saying that it's like a bit of a domino effect of erectile dysfunction. dysfunction, you've got to be able to have one for it to be dysfunctional to start with. So, if you lose it, it's gone.
Right.
You got nothing to use.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is a real problem. Apparently, there's a period of time where it's not stretching itself out. Right, it gets all this blood into it because you're lying down and you're not well. It can lead to scarring and shortening.
Right. And one of the treatments one of the doctors actually suggested is the good old-fashioned cock pump. It's like a thing. I saw it on Van Wilder, actually, because one of the guys was trying to pull from a bong and it was actually Raj's cock pump. But it's one of these things where you apparently put over your knob and you pump it out and it sort of sucks it. I don't know.
Makes it bigger, yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand.
He says, I don't know, like he's never tried one before.
Me? No,
Yeah.
mate, I don't have a collection of them like some people.
I thought maybe that's what they were on the shelf behind you there, but that might be something else. Okay.
I'll
leave it at that.
Because this is a bloody podcast and people can't see anything. What's behind me is a beautifully lit curtain.
Right, that's what you're telling everyone. Yeah, well, we know better.
So this poor guy is left a little bit short, and as it turns out, so is his date.
Exactly.
So we're thinking of setting up a GoFundMe page to help men with erectile dysfunctional issues as a result of COVID cock. So you know what they say: if you get COVID, don't be a cock about it.
Boom, boom. I can't believe we did all that for that punchline. Anyway, this has been a great episode with David Dencik on the show. And don't forget to head over to badboysfm.com to enter the draw to win one of 6 James Bond DVDs, No Time to Die. Fantastic to chat with David, but the surprises keep on coming because Tuesday, make sure you tune in because we have an extra special event happening for Australia Day.
Good
Are we allowed to even talk about Australia Day?
Good Australia.
Invasion Day, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's got many sides. We're not calling it Australia Day. We're calling it Australia Day.
Yeah.
And we're going bogan.
We're going full bogan. And not only that, we're bringing the Bogan Kings in for the discussion.
Yes.
Good old Paulie Fennick and Angry Anderson are going full bogan with us.
Yeah, can't wait. Yeah, looking forward to that. Angry was great on the show when he was on just before Christmas. Be good to have him back, and good to have him back with Paul Fennick. I think we spoke to Paul. Would have been about 18 months ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Absolutely, love the guy. He's what a scream. What an absolute scream.
Yeah.
Love what he does for Australian comedy and the Australian culture and bringing it to light as well. So, look, it's going to be a great chat. We're going to talk all things bogan
excellent episode.
And see what rabbit holes it sends us down.
See where it goes. Thanks for joining us on the show today. Make sure you head over to our social media, which is official Bad Boys Podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
And badboysfm.com for those sultry tunes. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Press plus or follow to hear more great episodes from the Bad Boys. Or check us out on our social media at official Bad Boys Podcast.